Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Break free from the forces holding you back. Get the life you deserve. Eliminate stress, reduce anxiety, decrease depression, and start living your full potential. Thousands have used Dr. Foojan Zane's awareness integration theory, an evidence-based behavioral health breakthrough with incredible life-changing results. Getting rid of past trauma, having fulfilling relationships, increasing earnings, and living their best life. Now, the Foojan app is available to everyone. The app is Dr. Foojan Zane's awareness integration theory in the palm of your hand. Download the Foojan app today.
Do you wish to wake up one day and hit the Life Reset button? Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want by Dr. Foojan Zane, helps you navigate crucial life areas, heal the past traumas, and cultivate fulfilling relationships and careers. Life Reset is your guide to a profound journey to reshape your life. Grab your copy on Amazon or Audible now and embark on a path to a more joyous and fulfilled life.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Zane, psychotherapist and author and the creator of the Awareness Integration Theory. So thrilled to have you join us today, where I promise to be an inspiring discussion. In this episode, I chat with Rebecca Ahmed. She is an award-winning speaker. She's a business consultant and an Energy Leadership Index master practitioner. And we do talk about what that is. She's also a professional certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. Rebecca advises companies of all sizes on how to create a motivational workplace culture by transforming the energy and enthusiasm of their team. We're going to be talking about her latest book, The Energy of Success. Power up your productivity, transform your habits, and maximize workplace motivation, which all of us need. Definitely. We spend so many hours in our career and in our work and with other people who are there. Some of us are owners of companies, so definitely we have employees, we have partners that we have to deal with in large companies, we have structures that are there. So we could definitely experience what is it that we do and what environments are there that just sucks our energy out. And what do we do and what kind of environment we're in, which is develops our energy, creates more enthusiasm. So we're going to be talking about all of that today. You could find her at her website, energeticimpact.com. And I had a really great conversation, and we talked about and gave examples about, what happens when some of the things that happens that your energy gets drained, and what are some of the things you could do. She shares with you 5 principles of what to do in order to bring that energy back and give it away and collaborate with others to also create constructive energy. Great conversation. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it as much as I did. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast, my YouTube channel, connect with me through my website, foojanzane.com, and any other social media platforms. Share your thoughts with me. And, I love to hear from you. If you have any questions, ask. Send me an email, ask the questions, or any of the social media so we can create a program and answer the questions for you. Go to Foojan app. You could get it from Apple Store or Google. You could get, or if you have an Android, you could go to Google Play, get Foojan app, and go through almost 31 areas of your life, looking at awareness of who you are, where you are, how to get to where you want to get, what were some of the obstacles and from your past that is holding you back, and what can you do to kind of like clear them up so you feel clean, clear, and light to be able to envision what you want and set up your goals and action plans to get there. We have found that people are getting 60 to 70% improvement as they work through Foojan. So I've got a good surprise for you in a couple of months about how the AI meets AIT. Yep, that's exciting. Now, without further ado, here's Rebecca.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory, written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zain, and Dr. Manoukian, three experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now.
Eliminate stress, reduce anxiety, and decrease depression. Dr. Foojan Zain's awareness integration theory has helped thousands like you get incredible life-changing results. The Foojan app gives you her evidence-based treatment in the palm of your hand. Download today.
It is so nice to have you with us, everyone. Rebecca, Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, first you got to explain to me and everybody else. I know you're a business consultant, you're a speaker, you're an award-winning speaker, and you're an Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioner. Please explain.
Absolutely. So I went back to school to get my coaching certification. And there are so many different programs out there that many people probably know or have researched. And the body of which everyone is kind of held to a standard is the International Coaching Federation. And in exploring how can I really help others and how can I take my 12, 13 years of HR expertise into the workplace from an angle of energy, I honestly dove into that word energy. And IPEC is the school that I went to, and they certify people such as myself to better understand personal energy. And it's a year-long program of how we bring energy into our coaching so that people understand what is driving me forward. Where am I placing my energy? How is my energy serving me? And so that shares a little bit about how I became a master practitioner and why it's so important that we discuss energy today, why my book is called The Energy of Success, and all things energy coming your way.
So when you talk about energy, let's define what we talk about energy, right? So the physics, calls energy a particular concept. On a mundane level, people just say, I have a high energy. I don't. Oh, that person had a negative energy or a positive energy. From my background, psychology, we kind of use it on an interchangeably. We can use it from a stamina perspective or an attitude perspective. And when somebody says, oh, somebody had a negative energy, it was more like they had a negative we were looking at their body language or their words, and it seemed like there was a negativity, a connotation, or a belief system, or a negative feelings that were oozing out of them, or they were expressing, and it didn't make us feel good. It didn't make us feel comfortable or safe. So we kind of assumed that was we called it an energy. When you talk about energy, and then obviously in your book, Energy of Success and Productivity, what do you mean by energy?
You hit it on the head. And there's a lot of woo-woo around this word energy, but I love how you started with the physics or the science behind it, because that's what I bring forward. Scientists define energy as the ability to do work. And they define that in two different types. There's kinetic energy, which is working energy, or potential energy, which is stored energy. The effects of these types of energies give you constructive or destructive energy, which you kind of shared as negative or positive. And that's how people kind of look at that. Does it build me up or does it drain me? Does it excite me? Does it make me not feel the best? And so it's important to understand we can take the same definition that scientists use to better understand our own personal energy. And personal energy is the amount of vigor or capacity you bring to a situation. So the same as that kinetic and that potential, are you working it? Are you adding to your energy? Or is it stored? Are you taking some of the stored energy to be able to accomplish an action? At the end of the day, you're looking to accomplish goals, your mission, your vision, and you need energy to do that. The amount of vigor or capacity or personal energy you put towards that is how fast or how effective you get there to accomplishing their goals.
So you're looking at energetic concept, which is a little bit, we can also relate it to physical energy, which you could either, have more of the excitement and the vigor to be able to do something, and what kind of thought process, emotional process, behavioral concepts, belief systems, visions, hold you to that space, what kind of personal relationships with others holds you in the space that we can move forward, get excited about it, be passionate about it. It gives you more energy. The more that you are doing this task or thinking this way or being around this person, it invigorates you in a way that you build energy, you accumulate energy, or is a particular thought process, emotional process, relational way, or a behavior reduces your energy, where you have to actually now, if you're going to operate, you have to go to the stored energy to gain and operate from, because it's extending, it's leaving, like your energy is getting a feeling that it's gone and it's not being restored. And that underneath that, then you also look at the concept of attitude, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I like to compare our energy to our phones because we're so closely connected with them. When your phone is plugged in at 100% charge, it can do anything. You can use its apps, you can use navigation, you can take pictures, you can edit pictures. Your phone is operating at that 100%. And we humans are the same. When we are well slept, well fed, taking care of our mental health, our physical health, just like you shared, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are connected in this drive towards your goals. Now, as soon as we unplug our phones, we'll notice that different activities pull different sources of energy. Some navigation, for instance, usually pulls a lot more battery on your phone. And if you don't plug in your phone throughout the day to recharge, eventually it will hit that conservation mode and it will stop working. We are the same way. If we don't recharge, we are using that stored energy until it depletes completely, and then we will no longer work because we must be recharged. And when you understand that of how you're pulling and how you're recharging yourself, then you get excited because you're like, oh my goodness, energy is a currency. And if I continue to recharge and consistently, just like I plug my phone in, you don't plug your phone in and get jealous on it, right? You don't say, oh goodness, you're recharging. You're saying, no, it's able to function how I need it to. We're the same way. And so when you start using these tools, and as you said, attitudes, they connect to your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, you'll start gaining more energy to accomplish your goals with that excitement that you've brought forward.
Right. You talk about leveraging 5 energetic success principles to propel you into a higher level of energy. Can you share with us what those are?
Yes, happy to. So the first one I'll share is the principle of detachment. And this one's a bit nuanced. That's why I kind of like to lead with it. When you experience someone's negative energy, as you shared in the beginning of today, it has that icky feeling, right? Like, ugh, it just didn't make me feel good. If you lead with service, if you love to connect with other people, if you're intuitive, you probably have the gift of really empathizing with someone. And that's a beautiful gift. You can see the world through their lens and really hear them and feel for them. The challenge is you might actually wear their coat as if it's your own. And then you start becoming negative. You start spewing out negativity. And so the principle of detachment is to remind you to empathize, but then release. Don't wear their coat. It's not yours to wear. You didn't experience what they've experienced all day, so you don't need to take that and feel as if you're exhausted or frustrated. So that's one piece of that. The other piece of the principle of detachment, and I do this a lot with clients, and it becomes this huge weight off their shoulders, is we create stories from fact. And so something occurred, a traumatic experience might have occurred to you. But the story we create, we see this with imposter syndrome. Michelle Obama talked about this in the sense of belonging. One teacher told her she wasn't worth Ivy League school. The rest of her life, she said, I don't belong. We take this one instance that was fact. This occurred, and I wish it didn't occur, but we've made it our story to wear as if our entire life we have these limitations. These are those limiting beliefs. And so I empower my clients and I empower those listeners. If you are living through a story, you can detach from that. What occurred, occurred, but you get to choose how you live your life. You get to choose how you come forward in this world. So detach from those stories so that you don't have limiting beliefs and you can accomplish what you want. So that's the principle of detachment. The next one's cultivating curiosity. You know, as we talk throughout today, you're asking questions, you're wanting to seek to learn and grow. When you cultivate curiosity, you're coming from a lens of not judging. Nothing's right or wrong. It's how can I gain interest from this opportunity? How can I move forward? How can I take this and continue to grow? And it becomes really playful because you'll start to realize your biases from those beliefs, from those backgrounds, and how much more you can expand your knowledge, your network, your communication skills just by seeking to learn and grow. Inspiring possibility. We're all our first no. You shared you're a psychologist. How many times do you hear your clients say, oh, I can't do that? That's not possible. And so by stepping into that possibility and saying, maybe I can't do that yet. Maybe that's not this week's goal, but I can always accomplish when I set myself forward for anything, I can accomplish that and I can create that, inspire that possibility. Lead with love. When you're looking through the lens of leading with love, you care about other people. And I talk about care in the sense of corporate culture. When your policies are coming from a place of care, not reprimanding someone, but really trying to help someone, you're able to really bridge those differentiators that are causing those destructive energies, whether it's in your communication or even in how you're collaborating with someone. Leading with love comes to that place of how do I ensure that I respect your values, even if they're different than mine? Or where do we find synergy in our values? And that's a huge opportunity. And then last but not least, and we saw this the last few weeks in the Olympics, practicing presence. How many Olympians did you see just meditating before they went on, talking to themselves, going for a walk, practicing presence versus multitasking versus trying to do so many things at once? When you are present with the conversation we're having right now, present with the opportunities around you, they literally blossom up because you are actually seeing what's in front of you versus getting so cluttered and trying to wade through all of that junk. So those are 5 energetic success principles to really help people navigate from destructive energy into constructive zones.
And it really leads to the concept of the interpersonal relationships, where a lot of times there is something that goes on internally that, reduces your energy, sucks your energy out, or gets you excited and you want to get up and move forward. There's also this concept of no matter who you are in a relationship with another human being, now there's a duality of a relationship, right? So the same thing, like you stated, you don't have to wear everybody else's coat, that you could be a part of a listening and an empathizing and hold yourself in your body and who you are, and then deal with the outside world and whomever is talking to you. There's also this other concept, which we used to call it a water fountain conversation, where we used to, people used to go and have a drama sharing or a negative sharing about others. So they would share where it appeared that because I'm sitting with you and together we're talking about this other employee that we don't like, or this boss that just did this, or this policy that we don't like, and we just go at it. And although it creates this synergy of I belong because somebody else is also as upset as I am about this other thing, this topic we're talking about, but we're not realizing that although the synergy is in the sense of belonging, that somebody else knows and understands me, but there's also growing energy of negativity, hopelessness, powerlessness, victimization that is getting created, that it doesn't offer a constructive energy, and it really does a lot more of sabotaging. So it might create energy such as anger and resentment, and it looks like a amount of energy is higher because anger has high energy, but it is a destructive one. So it's how people can also realize that in their communication together at, in work with employees, with their bosses, or with people who work for them. How do they shift that kind of a destructive energy? Although it fuels them, many people get fueled by these type of conversations, or even, they sit home, they come from work, and they sit there and they create a scenario in their head, and they get upset, and they just want to talk about it. So not only they have that type of a destructive energy that's happening at work, now they're bringing it home, and they're kind of putting it with their husband, with their wife, with their children, with their friends, with their community. And now this type of an energy that you're talking about, it's going everywhere. It's building, and yet it's destructive instead of constructive. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, and let's go exactly to that water hole, right? At the end of the day, we're all looking, whether it's on an individual basis, on a team basis, or a company basis, to accomplish goals that we've set forward. And we all come from a set of values, and we want to live in alignment with those values so that we can accomplish our goals. This water hole, there's this waterfall destructive energy of spewing negativity. What you just explained exactly. It's not constructive, and it's not getting you to your goals. If you're complaining and saying, okay, X person did this, or X process is like this, and that doesn't work, and it's just to complain about it and then take it home and then complain more, what are you doing? You're ruminating. You're draining your battery. You're not putting action to actually solution orient. Now, if you came to that water hole and said, or let's fill up our water cups and said, this process is very frustrating to me, and another person said, me too, let's sit down and let's discuss everything that bothers us. This is a good use of destructive energy because you're putting it towards an action plan to actually rectify the situation. Then the conversation becomes, here, we've led with curiosity. We've identified all the pain points. Now let's start identifying or asking questions to see how can we get to something that is more constructive, that makes our lives easier, that puts in a process that's more efficient for us. We can communicate more effectively. And now you're actually accomplishing your goals so that when you go home and talk to your husband, your wife, your partner, your children, your friends, you're saying, oh my goodness, what an opportunity. We took this challenge, we converted it to an opportunity, and now we're synergizing on creating a project plan to make our lives more efficient, better, more energized to accomplish our goals. That same scenario can go two very different ways, and that's the opportunity. That is the difference, because you're not draining yourself to not do actually something about it. You're putting more vigor and capacity because it's getting you towards your goals and getting you there with more excitement, with more energy, with more motivation. And that's the difference. And you nailed it right on the head. But we have that opportunity to make that decision, which is so exciting.
Very much, yes. I created a theoretical perspective. It's called awareness integration theory, which it's looking at what part am I having in this scenario? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? How is it impacting me? And you could really look at how you come from here, from your essence and from your body and your thinking, and how do you build your energy inside? And then that kind of energy, now I'm putting it in your words, how that type of an energy, when it flows outside and then commingles with other people, that what does it create? And then whatever happens there, sometimes we feel like we're the passive recipient of it, or we get that it is we're victim of it, versus looking at how am I also a co-creator of this. And then when we take responsibility and agency about it, then there's a part that we can shift internally while we impact whatever else that is happening, such as the example you were just talking about. If I get it that I am being negative about this, it's okay. I can look at what doesn't work, just like you say, then come back and also look at what works. What is it that I can do in order to move it forward? You also talk about in your book about how how our ego as a human being comes in. Where is it that we take things personal? Where is it that we get stuck? And where is it that we kind of lose perspective about the work, the goal of the company, my goal in being in that company, and then I get hurt by something that it hits me personally, and then I get stuck, and my energy kind of keeps going around and around this ego issue and my personality issue versus, going back and say, what is even my purpose of being at this work, at this job? Or, and then the next level is, okay, then what can I do to go into my goal, my teamwork, my team goal, my company goal? And that ego really it's one of those things that it can really, really sabotage every one of us and get us stuck. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. When you are leading with ego, you think about yourself. You are the victim. Everything's happening to you. You don't feel in control. It's you. You'll notice when you're not leading with ego, it's about the synergy of the community. It's about the greater good. And it might sound silly, but really think about when you are happiest and you are connected with those around you, whether it's the environment, whether it's people, you're not thinking just about you. And that's the opportunity that we need to leverage with ego to say, am I coming from a place of just focusing on myself? And am I even thinking about what are our goals? You have individual goals, you have team goals, again, you have company goals. And we're all working towards these greater goals, including life goals, right? Like, don't we all want a life that's stronger, that's safer, that's more energizing, that we can build sustainable business practices for generations to come, that we're continuously growing? All of us want that same thing. I don't think anyone wakes up and says, I want to destroy. We all come from a place of wanting something good. There might be an occurrence that occurs that you're connecting to a story, and you're, once again, that's ego. Everyone must suffer because I have suffered, versus where can we all grow from this? And that's an opportunity. And when I work with, organizations, and we identify these hot spots by doing an energy leadership assessment, it's like, oh, where is that? And that's usually what comes up. Exactly what you're showcasing is, this one person wants their stamp, their name on everything, versus the team. And how burnt out are they versus allowing others to grow? How are they even accomplishing their goals? And showing them that there's another way to get there where they have more energy and they can expand that energy and create an impact. That is the energetic impact you can create, because it isn't just about you. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about all of us. And the goal is that all of us can move forward from this. So that's just a great question to ask yourself. If you're only thinking about yourself, ego's kind of flying high.
Yeah. And it's inevitable. I had a supervisor, clinical supervisor. She used to always say, we're all a recovering narcissist, because when we were born, we're all narcissists. All we think about is us. The world goes around us. And, we're kind of like, we're supposed to grow out of it as we mature. But sometimes, all of us don't. And there's always a part of us which is going to be wanting it to be about me. There's always that part. And it's that awareness of it's going to be there. It's most of the time is going to have the first word inside. And although I want to acknowledge it, I want to honor it, and I want it to, a part of it has to be about me, where it could be the mission of, me feeling purposeful, feeling that I matter, that I'm relevant, or why would I even have an oomph or a zest to do anything? So of course it needs to come from there, but the point is it shouldn't end there. It should expand to all of the.
It's part of a bigger. It's part of a bigger. Of course, you are part of something. I am part of something, and we want that legacy to be shared. I was part of this, but the end goal probably took a lot of pieces and a lot of people coming together to accomplish something.
Exactly.
That's the bigger piece.
Yes, it was never all you. It's always everybody else with you that also created this, and for you to be able to expand that piece and to take, to create this win-win situation with everybody. Mm-hmm. We're talking, I think, from a personal perspective. I want to kind of expand it now to the concept of a team, a concept of organization, and how could organizations companies, whether they're small family-owned businesses or, international top 100, company. So if we look at how to bring this way of energy of success, as your book has, into your productivity and creating a context in that way for the whole company to move forward with this kind of a concept, what are your suggestions?
My first suggestion is you need to understand where you are before you decide where you want to go. Because if you don't know where you are, how do you know where you want to go? And so that's where the assessment is so important, to better understand, what levels of energy am I using? How am I seeing the world? Do I need to change my glasses? I do this in speeches all the time. I give everyone a different colored pair of glasses and say, if this isn't serving you, let's switch glasses. But if you understand where you are at first, then you can decide, okay, here do we want to go and which steps do we need to get there? What I've seen, whether it's a small organization or a large organization, I've worked for both, we are leveraging more assumptions and bias than leading with curiosity. We have an assumption, this is the way it was before, this is the way it should be done now. And I coach specifically, and I work with companies specifically who have a lot of Gen Z entering their workforce, because we have various generations. And what worked before with boomers or Gen X or millennials is different than what's happening with Gen Z. And they're questioning everything. They're looking at workplace statistics saying, well, that didn't succeed. Why have we been doing it the same way for so long? And so this is the opportunity that we can take in this moment and say, what are your ideas? How is it working for you? This is where personalization and transparency are becoming the values of the future of the workplace, because it's about asking those questions and then developing processes that are fluid, that are sustainable, that are opinionated based on various perspectives, diverse perspectives, that cognitive diversity that comes to play versus this is how it was done in the past. And we're seeing this more and more, but this is the opportunity that when you start cultivating curiosity and asking everyone to vocalize and to point out opportunities, you will see the energy of your organization come forward, because people feel valued and people realize that they can share their values to be able to accomplish the bigger goals and mission.
I think accumulation of both of them is so important because, I've worked with a lot of younger people who come in somewhere and they give ideas. Now, the seasoned people have already gone through the same ideas and it didn't work out. So when they come in and say it didn't work, not only that one thing worked and we only want to do it that way, but there's also this other aspect of it didn't work. So they shut down the idea. But there's also, I think, the accumulation of bringing the wisdom of the people who were there before and looked at the history of how things worked or didn't work, and then bring the new novel ideas together and see that even if some idea didn't work before, if we approach it from a different angle, would it work now? And, especially that, with technology changing every angle of our life, every angle. So there's so much that a new technology can bring in and completely change the world of that company. I work with a lot of family-owned businesses that mom and pop were immigrants, came in, worked hard, and within a system create an amazing company. Now their children are grown. They want to come back and kind of like take over the empire,
Yep.
And they come in, and then this shift of power and exchange of the torches from one to another, it's a hard job. And a lot of it has to do with what you're sharing, which is the new generation comes, they've gone to corporations, they've worked at corporations, they've gotten all of these new ideas, and they come in and they now want to take that company, which they're family owned, they took it to this level, and now they want to bring and take it to a whole different level with their newness, with their ideas, with bringing technology and bringing structures and system into it, and to just give that whole piece a whole different life and energy, where it could shoot up from one level of a company to completely another level of company. And it does take this allowance. And, what we were talking about, to allow not the ego to be upfront and really, just saying, no, I've done it this way for so long, it's worked, we're not going to do it any other way. And there's this, or, this is like going from family members to another, or we're talking, huge companies, which the turnover is that they're bringing new generation in. And if the managers, supervisors, and the company's not ready to create this openness of bringing new ideas in, it's just going to shut the door, and they're going to have a lot of turnovers with no change.
Correct. And that's the opportunity, right? To say, why didn't it work in the past? And that I think everyone always wants to know the whys. Wouldn't you want to know if something didn't work in the past and there is no technological difference, or there's, you have an understanding of how A didn't get to Z, then you would say, oh, great, thank you. Glad we tried that in the past, didn't work. Let's approach it from a different angle. Nobody wants to waste their time, especially as we have more technology, as we are more efficient. Nobody's saying, let me add more hours to this project. Like, I think at the end of the day, that's the goal, is to remember that we're all trying to be more efficient. We're all trying to be more effective, and we're all working towards that same piece. So the ego, it's not going to add value there. It's going to actually impact it more in a slower, destructive way.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, the energy of success. Power up your productivity, transform your habits, and maximize workplace motivation, by Rebecca Ahmed. Rebecca, anything we haven't shared where you really want our audience to know?
Yeah, I continue to share this work, and what I would love the audience to know is that if you're looking for a speaker, that's what I'm looking to do, is create this energetic impact for you as an individual, for your teams, for your companies. And it's so energizing, to use the exact word, to see a room create that shift. And life, work, whether it's personal or professional, this is a currency. And so by understanding these principles, and thank you for sharing the book, by understanding that you have the power of control, you have the power to make your bank account just overfilling with energy. Like, what a fun way to be able to approach your day to day and create shifts. And so if you're not feeling that right now, that's okay, but there are tools for that. And so just really happy to share that with your listeners.
Beautiful. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so my website is energeticimpact.com. On there, you'll find all my social media handles. So whatever kind of speaks to you, whether that's LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, I've got them all. And I share different tips and tricks and all things about the energy of success.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And for all of you who are out there, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, bye-bye.
Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy, developed by Dr. Foojan Zain, is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing Awareness Integration Therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.